Allow me to introduce myself. Who knows what dastardly crime he might perpetrate next?
He's a very clever arch criminal who must be put away. Another innocent victim of this suicidal maniac.
Cyberpunk 2077 is already shaping up to be a Game of the Year contender. In this video, I want to go over the 5 reasons why Cyberpunk 2077 could very well be Game of the Generation. Cyberpunk 2077 is not your average run-of-the-mill first-person shooter. It's also heavy on RPG elements, complete with various and unique ways of completing tasks and missions. And depending on your playstyle and what class you choose, you may rarely ever have to shoot a gun at all in what is sure to be one of the most rich and detailed worlds we've ever seen in a video game. The 3 class types include the Solo, the Techie, and of course the Netrunner. Now your Solo character is your typical combat-heavy playstyle, and it focuses more on brute force than the other 2 classes. Now if you're the type of gamer that likes to run and gun through missions without having to do much thinking, the Solo might be for you. Netrunner, for those of you that would like to think, hack, or manipulate your way through each mission. In fact, I'm told it's quite possible to go through the game as a Netrunner without ever having to pick up a gun at all. Now, while the Netrunner does focus on stealth, given the unique abilities of the Netrunner, you'll have your own distinctive ways of completing each mission and attacking enemies. Now, last but not least on this list is the Techie. As the name suggests, Techies delve deep into the world of tech. Now, these guys aren't so much into the cyberspace tech like your Netrunner. Instead, these are your engineers. Now your Techie can break stuff down, rebuild it, add on, make things better than they were. They focus more on mechanical pieces and gear. Things like robots, computers, and even upgrades to weapons are their specialty. Speaking of robots, the Techie will also have access to its own robot sidekick. How cool is that? Again, folks, depending on what class you choose here, it could make your playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077 very unique. Now, as I've stated previously, you don't necessarily need to make your playthrough of Cyberpunk a heavy first-person shooter experience. However, if you so choose to put a more gun-heavy emphasis on your playstyle, you'll find the weapons within Cyberpunk to be pretty awesome. You'll have access to weapons like smart guns. These have bullets that can bounce off floors, ceilings, walls, or even bend around corners to hit enemies. You see, smart guns sort of have a homing bullet that follows the target. Maybe these bullets are great for you guys out there that can't, well, aim, and I'm surely not talking about myself. Nah, I don't need these bullets.
Are you sure about that?
We also have tech guns that can shoot through walls to get those hiding behind cover, and of course, there will be your power weapons as well in the game. And these will be your more heavier guns. Now, these will be things like ballistic weapons, like shotguns with explosive ammo, for instance. And of course, these weapons will be customizable, so you will be able to modify weapons within Cyberpunk, and depending on what skill set you have, again, this all depends on what class you choose, you may have even more options to modify these weapons a bit further. Now, I love hearing about these bullets and weapons that we'll be getting on launch day, but quite honestly, I don't even think we've scratched the surface. But it already sounds like the gunplay in Cyberpunk is going to bring some really distinctive and overall fun gameplay. The dystopian future world of Cyberpunk 2077 will indeed be one in which we will have plenty to do. Aside from the epic missions and side missions we'll be given, exploration is sure to be a big part of the game. Night City is expected to be a large neon playground for us to sink many hours into. From underground boxing, martial arts, street races, and even shooting ranges, these confirmed mini-games outside of the main missions, of course, are sure to occupy our time within the game. Night City is comprised of 6 districts. We have City Center, Watson, Westbrook, Haywood, Pacifica, and Santo Domingo. from the aesthetics of the landscape to those that reside within. Each sector will look and feel very different, from street gangs, corporate types, to the downtrodden. Each of these districts will have its own social class of people you'll have to interact with at various points in the game. Now, how easily you can maneuver in and around these districts will definitely depend on the choices you make within your playthrough. Piss someone or some people off in one sector? Then expect to be hassled in that part of town. So even if you're just cruising around Night City, you'll always have to be aware of the choices you make. Now, there's also the Badlands, that area we saw a little bit of in that small clip here. Now, this of course is that area surrounding Night City that we will be able to explore as well, and I fully expect that being aware of your actions and choices out here will apply as well. While it's said that Cyberpunk 2077's map may not be as big as The Witcher 3's, CDPR has already confirmed that this game has a lot for us to do and explore both in and around this very detailed Neon City. Another huge aspect of Cyberpunk 2077 will be the character creation choices. Now, of course, we already went over the class system, but there is so much more to customize here with your character at the start of the game. You can choose your own distinctive body part, making you female, male, trans, or whatever you so desire to be within the game. And this alone makes for a very unique start to any game. But choice doesn't stop there. The RPG elements within Cyberpunk, whether it be the upgradable skills, weapons, cyberware, clothing, and possibly even vehicles, the freedom of choice here is ultimately yours. Listen, Cyberpunk 2077 promises to deliver on more choice than we've ever seen in most games we've ever played before. This game may very well be one of the most customizable games ever. Now, number one shouldn't really come as a surprise to any real gamer out there, especially those that have played through The Witcher 3 and all of its DLC. But of course, I'm gonna have to go with CD Projekt Red being the number one reason why I feel this game could be Game of the Generation. And considering what they've done with The Witcher 3 and all of its DLC, and given the fact that there is so much Cyberpunk lore at their disposal, courtesy of Mike Pondsmith and his Cyberpunk 2020 board game that this game is based off of, this game is a sure bet to have a winning story. So customizable characters, story, gameplay, and a vast detailed world to explore. Given all these reasons I've listed, Cyberpunk 2077 could just very well be Game of the Generation. Now, I want to thank all of you for taking the time out to watch this video as usual. If you've been here before, you know what to do. Like, share, and comment down below, as it would really help me out. And if you're new here, please consider hitting that sub and notification bell to let you know when my next video drops. Until then, try to be the best possible you, be kind to each other, and of course, as always, game on.